There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
What's going on, everybody? Mike Macabre. Welcome to Macabre Mass, where we not only talk monsters, we make monsters. And the gears were turning in my head, and I was thinking today about the Halloween television series. I could be completely wrong, but based on the information and everything that I have read, how they want to flesh out some of the characters that weren't fleshed out in the original 78 and all that good stuff, my brain can't help but it keeps going to prequel. I'm thinking that is where this is going. Like I said, I don't know for sure. I could be completely wrong, but if we're fleshing out some of the characters that weren't fleshed out in 78, my brain is going, I'm thinking Judith Myers, maybe Michael's parents, things like that. So, because the characters, once it hits 78 and all, there's not too many of them, at least that I could think of, that, aren't well fleshed out, I could be wrong, but that's how I'm looking at it, and, excuse me. Like I said, based on the information, I'm really thinking prequel. And so I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, if we are talking prequel, and we're fleshing out characters that weren't fleshed out from before and everything, like most likely, I feel like there's a lot more characters in the 63 range, the 1963 time period. Like I said, Michael's parents, Judith, so on, that could be fleshed out. So if that's what we're talking about a prequel is, it came in my head, well, we're not going to be getting the shape right away then. And so I'm like, wow. So I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, man, so we may not get Myers, or at least grown-up Myers, the shape, the boogeyman, stalking and killing, perhaps till a few episodes in, or perhaps even later in the season. Or maybe the season will end with, the 78 timeline or whatever. So my question to everybody is, how do you feel about that? Are you okay for the sake of telling this story, and are you okay with a prequel, and us possibly not getting the shape until much later on in the season, because that's what I thought about. Like, if we're doing prequel, that means we're not going to be getting the shape for a while, at least for a few episodes, right? Because if you're going to flesh out characters that haven't been fleshed out before, you can't do all that in one episode. You're going to need at least a few episodes to do that, right? So yeah, that's what my brain got to thinking. I'm like, man, so we might not get the shape right away. And I know that there's probably a lot of people. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. Please let me know in the comment section how you guys feel. But I know there's a lot of people that probably want Myers, and they want him right away. They're watching this specifically to see the boogeyman. And I know I've said this before, if we are talking prequel though, and they're sticking to the original film and that concept, Loomis says, he spent 8 years trying to reach him. The next 7 trying to keep him locked up. So I interpret that as he spent 8 years trying to psychoanalyze him and got nothing. Michael, for all, sakes, from what it sounds like, he didn't even say one word. You know what I mean? So hopefully if they're sticking to that original movie and this is a prequel and we do see young Michael, we don't get him saying a word. Even if we do see a bit of the Loomis and Michael, sessions in the hospital, that we don't see Michael talk at all. Hopefully I'm okay with it as long as Michael does not talk, and he's just sitting there with the blackest eyes, and just nothingness. That I'm okay with, just like in Halloween Kills, in passing, when the officer says, yeah, my mom used to make me play with him because she felt bad, and he would just stand there and stare out the window. I was okay with that. I was cool with that, because the mystique of the boogeyman is still preserved. Nothing was given away. All he basically said was he seen young Michael, and he never really said anything and just stood there and stared out the window. I kind of like that, because it's like, oh, okay. It basically is kind of alluding to the fact, yeah, he had good parents. Obviously, it's a normal American neighborhood there, and, nice neighborhood, all that stuff. He just, like I said, he just snapped. So I kind of like that aspect of Halloween Kills in the flashback, because they kind of mention young Michael, and even, obviously this one cop even spent time with young Michael as a kid, and it was like, yeah, he was just, quiet and kind of a loner and kept to himself. I hope that is what they do in this series, and I feel like that they're smart enough that they will do that, especially if they're sticking to the original and using that as the basis for this story. that means Dr. Loomis's speech is, going to be, canon in this, series. So, being, like I said, he tried to reach for 8 years, meaning he didn't get anything out of Michael. So I really, really hope if they do show young Michael and this is a prequel story, which I'm really leaning towards that I'm right, and it is. I mean, like, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and it could start, like, right before the events of, Halloween 78. Who knows? We don't know. None of us know yet. But like I said, with how they're talking about going back to the original and fleshing out these characters, I feel like a prequel story is what's going to happen. And like I said, if so, we will not be getting the shape until later on. And I'm just curious to how all of you feel when it comes to that. Are you okay with the story, not getting the shape until later on? Are you okay with just having little scenes here and there of young Michael and him just being silent and keeping to himself? I'm okay with it. I'm cool with it. Like I said, as long as Michael doesn't talk and, he's a loner, keeps to himself, all that good stuff, so we can preserve the mystique of the boogeyman. It's all good with me. You guys, let me know how you feel in the comments, man. Are you cool with the prequel story? Are you cool with not getting to shape until a little later on to flesh out some of these characters and everything? Or do you guys want the boogeyman first episode right away? No playing around. Either way, I understand, you guys. Let me know how you feel. If you're still here, I super appreciate it. Please hit that subscribe button, you guys. I would super appreciate it. Once I hit 100 subscribers, I'm going to raffle off this very mask, the Hallway 78, sculpted by yours truly. I am going to go live on my channel and raffle the mask off completely for free. All you got to do is be a subscriber. That is it. And if you're seeing this possibly after 100 subscribers, don't let that stop you, because I'm going to continue to do raffles as the channel grows. Hopefully the channel grows. I'm hoping so. Appreciate you guys that are still here watching, man. You guys take care. Mike Macabre signing out. Until next time, y'all take care.